Commander Jake Harrison stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty as the ship moved through the dark space between stars. The deep space exploration vessel had been traveling for 3 months now, going deeper into parts of the galaxy that no human had ever seen before. Jake watched the stars on the main screen while his crew worked at their stations around him. Dr. Lisa Morgan looked up from her science station with excitement in her eyes. She had been scanning the area for anything unusual. When her instruments picked up something big, Lisa called out to Jake that she was getting massive energy readings from something ahead of them. The readings were unlike anything she had seen before, and they were coming from what looked like a dead ship floating in empty space. Jake ordered the crew to move closer so they could get a better look at whatever was out there. As the USS Liberty approached the object, everyone on the bridge could see it clearly on their screens. The ship was huge, much bigger than any vessel in the human fleet. It looked old and damaged, but there was something about its design that seemed familiar, even though Jake was sure he had never seen anything like it before. Lieutenant Alex Turner ran scans on the mysterious ship while engineer Kate Williams checked the power readings. The ship was not sending out any signals and seemed to be completely dead, but Kate noticed that some systems deep inside were still working at very low levels. Alex reported that the ship was made from materials that human science knew about, but the way they were put together was far more advanced than anything humans could build. Jake decided they needed to board the strange vessel to learn more about it. He ordered Alex and Kate to lead a team over to the ship while Dr. Morgan stayed on the Liberty to study the readings from a safe distance. The boarding party put on their spacesuits and took a shuttle over to the massive ship. When they got close, they found an airlock that looked like it might still work. Kate used her engineering tools to open the airlock and was surprised when it responded to her commands. The systems inside the ship seemed to recognize human technology, even though the ship was clearly very old. As the team moved through the dark hallways, their lights showed walls covered with symbols and writing that looked almost like human languages, but were different in ways they could not understand. Alex led the team deeper into the ship while Kate worked on getting some of the internal systems back online. The ship was so big that it would take days to explore all of it, but they needed to find the main computer or control room to learn more about where the ship came from. As they moved through the corridors, they found rooms filled with equipment that was clearly meant for humans to use but was built with technology that seemed centuries ahead of what humans had now. Dr. Morgan stayed in contact with the boarding team from the Liberty and was amazed by what they were finding. The energy readings were getting stronger as Kate brought more systems online, and Lisa could see that the ship had power sources that were far more advanced than anything in human space. She told Jake that the ship seemed to be waking up as they explored it. Kate found what looked like the main computer room and began working on the ancient systems. To her surprise, the computers responded to her touch and began showing displays in a language that looked like old human writing. Alex called the rest of the team over when he found something that made his heart race. On the wall was a symbol that every human in space knew well, the old Earth Space Command logo that had been used hundreds of years ago. Jake could not believe what he was hearing over the radio. The team had found more symbols and writing that were clearly human in origin, but the ship was far too advanced to have been built by humans. As he thought about this puzzle, Dr. Morgan called out with shock in her voice. Her deep scans of the ship had revealed something impossible. The materials used to build the ship showed it was over 2,000 years old. The boarding team continued to explore while Jake tried to make sense of what they had found. How could humans have built such an advanced ship so long ago when Earth was still primitive at that time? Kate managed to access some of the ship computer files and found records that showed the ship was called the Eternal Vigil. The files were damaged, but they clearly showed that humans had built this massive vessel during a time that was supposed to be lost to history. As the team prepared to return to the Liberty with their findings, Kate noticed something strange happening with the ship systems. The ancient computers were starting to wake up on their own, and lights were beginning to turn on throughout the massive vessel. Whatever they had done by exploring the ship had started something that had been sleeping for thousands of years. The lights that had started turning on throughout the ancient ship grew brighter as Kate Williams worked at the main computer station. Chief Engineer Danny Cooper had joined the boarding team with more equipment to help bring the old systems back to life. The ship seemed to be responding to their presence in ways that made everyone nervous but excited at the same time. Dr. Amy Foster, the team's expert on old civilizations, studied the writing and symbols they had found throughout the ship. She told Jake over the radio that the language was definitely an ancient form of human writing, but it was much more advanced than anything from Earth's history books. The symbols told stories of great battles in space and victories over enemies that Amy had never heard of before. Danny worked with Kate to access more of the ship's computer files while the rest of the team explored other areas. They found rooms filled with weapons that were far more powerful than anything the human fleet had now. Alex Turner discovered what looked like a map room with star charts showing parts of the galaxy that human explorers had never reached. The maps were marked with human symbols and showed trade routes and military bases in star systems that were thousands of light years from Earth. As more systems came online, the ship's main computer began to speak in an old human language that Amy could partly understand. The computer said it was the artificial mind of the Titan class battlecruiser Eternal Vigil, and that it had been waiting for human voices to wake it from its long sleep. Danny and Kate looked at each other with amazement as they realized they were talking to a computer that was smarter than anything humans had built in modern times. The computer began showing them records of the ship's past missions. Amy watched in wonder as the screens displayed images of huge human fleets fighting battles against alien enemies in distant star systems. The humans in these old records wore uniforms that looked similar to modern Space Navy clothes, but their ships and weapons were far more advanced than anything that existed now. Jake ordered more crew members to come over from the Liberty to help explore the massive ship. Dr. Morgan continued scanning from the main ship and reported that the energy levels were growing stronger as more systems woke up. She was worried that the ancient power sources might be dangerous, but also excited by the amazing technology they were discovering. The ship's computer, which called itself Admiral Linda Grant after its original human commander, began to tell them the story of what had happened so long ago. Amy listened carefully as the computer explained that humans had once built a great empire among the stars, with hundreds of worlds and thousands of ships. The human empire had been powerful and peaceful, trading with friendly alien races and exploring new parts of the galaxy. Danny was amazed by the ship's engineering systems, which were far more advanced than anything he had studied in school. The power sources used energy that human science was just beginning to understand, and the weapons could destroy entire enemy fleets with single shots. Kate found design plans for other ships in the computer files that showed humans had built many vessels like the Eternal Vigil during their ancient empire. Admiral Grant's computer voice told them about the Great War that had ended the human empire. A group of alien races had joined together because they were afraid of how fast humans were growing and learning. These aliens called themselves the Dominion, and they had attacked human worlds without warning, starting a war that lasted for many years. Alex found records of the final battles, where human fleets had fought bravely against overwhelming numbers of enemy ships. The humans had won many victories, but the Dominion had too many ships and were willing to destroy entire star systems to stop human expansion. Amy read about heroes who had given their lives to save human colonies and about great victories that had made the enemy afraid of human courage. The computer explained that the human leaders had made a difficult choice when they realized they could not win the war. Instead of letting their people be destroyed, they had ordered most of the population to return to primitive worlds like Earth, where they would be safe from the Dominion. The most advanced ships, like the Eternal Vigil, had been hidden in secret places throughout the galaxy, waiting for the day when humans would be strong enough to reclaim their heritage. Kate discovered that the ship had been programmed to wait for humans with the right genetic codes and knowledge to find it. The computer had been sleeping for over 2,000 years, keeping the ship's systems ready for the day when humanity would return to the stars. Danny realized that modern humans were the descendants of the great empire that had once ruled large parts of the galaxy. As the team continued exploring, they found more evidence of humanity's forgotten greatness. There were records of scientific discoveries that were centuries ahead of current human knowledge and stories of exploration missions that had mapped distant parts of the galaxy. Amy found art and music from the ancient human civilization that was beautiful beyond anything she had ever seen. Dr. Morgan called from the Liberty to report that she was detecting signals coming from other parts of the galaxy. The awakening of the Eternal Vigil was sending out automatic messages to other hidden ships, calling them to wake up after their long sleep. Jake realized that finding this one ship might be just the beginning of discovering humanity's true past and their potential for the future. The signals that the Eternal Vigil had sent out across the galaxy were not only reaching other hidden human ships. Communications Officer Lisa Parker detected incoming transmissions from unknown sources that were responding to the ancient wake-up call. As she worked to decode the alien messages, her face grew pale with worry about what she was discovering. Captain Harrison listened as Lisa explained that the signals were coming from several different alien races who seemed to know exactly what the human ship's awakening meant. The messages were filled with anger and fear, talking about the return of an ancient enemy that they thought had been destroyed long ago. Lisa had never heard the alien languages before, but the ship's computer was able to translate them using its vast database of galactic communications. Admiral Grant's artificial mind confirmed Jake's worst fears when it explained that the Dominion still existed after all these centuries. The computer showed them star maps indicating where the alien coalition had built their new empire during the time that humans had been hiding on primitive worlds. The Dominion controlled most of the galaxy now and had spent 2,000 years preparing for the day when humans might return. Dr. Morgan detected massive energy signatures moving through space toward their location. The readings showed that alien fleets were already heading their way, moving faster than any ships in the current human space navy could travel. Amy Foster studied the old records and found that the Dominion races had always been afraid of human technology and creativity, which was why they had attacked the ancient human empire in the first place. Scout Commander Ben Hayes took a small team in fast ships to investigate other locations where the computer said more Titan-class vessels were hidden. Danny Cooper and Kate Williams worked frantically to bring more of the Eternal Vigil systems online while Alex Turner organized the ship's defensive weapons. The ancient ship had firepower that was beyond anything in the modern human fleet, but they would need time to fully activate all its systems. Ben's team found the first hidden ship in an asteroid field 3 star systems away from their location. The massive vessel called Iron Thunder had been sleeping in a hollowed-out asteroid for thousands of years, perfectly preserved and waiting for humans to find it. When Ben's team activated its wake-up systems, the ship began powering up just like the Eternal Vigil had done. Lisa Parker intercepted more alien communications that revealed how much the Dominion races still feared humanity. The messages talked about the plague of creativity and the virus of advancement that humans brought wherever they went. The aliens remembered how quickly the ancient human empire had grown and how human technology had advanced faster than any other race in the galaxy. Amy discovered records showing that humans had been different from other intelligent races in ways that made the Dominion afraid. While most alien civilizations took thousands of years to develop new technology, humans could make breakthrough discoveries in just decades or even years. The ancient human empire had gone from building their first spaceships to controlling hundreds of star systems in less than 5 centuries. Kate found design specifications for weapons and shields that were centuries ahead of current human technology. The Titan-class ships had been the most advanced vessels ever built by any race in the galaxy, and their construction secrets had been lost when the human empire went into hiding. Danny realized that just one of these ancient ships could probably defeat an entire modern human fleet by itself. Ben's team discovered another hidden ship called Starforge in a distant nebula and began the activation process. Each time a new Titan awakened, it sent out its own signals to locate other hidden vessels. Admiral Grant's computer estimated that at least 12 Titan-class ships had been hidden in different parts of the galaxy, each one carrying the knowledge and technology of humanity's greatest era. The alien fleets were getting closer, and Lisa's communications equipment picked up battle plans being shared between the Dominion races. The aliens were coordinating their attack carefully, remembering the lessons they had learned from fighting humans long ago. They knew that humans were most dangerous when they had time to adapt and create new solutions to problems. Alex worked with the ship's weapon systems and was amazed by their power and sophistication. The Eternal Vigil's main guns could destroy enemy ships from distances that were far beyond the range of modern human weapons. The ship's defensive shields could absorb damage that would destroy any vessel in the current human space navy. Amy found records of the original war that showed how the Dominion had needed to use overwhelming numbers to defeat the human fleets. Even when outnumbered 10-1, human commanders had found ways to win battles through superior tactics and technology. The aliens had only succeeded by being willing to destroy entire star systems rather than risk letting humans escape to fight again. Dr. Morgan reported that the energy signatures of approaching alien fleets were unlike anything in human databases. The Dominion races had spent 2,000 years improving their technology and building new types of warships specifically designed to fight humans. They remembered every human tactic and had prepared countermeasures for human creativity and adaptability. Ben found 2 more Titan ships, hidden in different star systems, and began awakening them while Jake tried to contact Earth Command to warn them about the approaching threat. The communication would take months to reach Earth due to the vast distances involved. But Jake knew that humanity needed to prepare for a war that had started thousands of years ago. Kate discovered that the Titan ships were designed to work together as a fleet, sharing information and coordinating their attacks through advanced communication systems. When enough of the ships were awakened, they would be able to fight as a unified force with the combined knowledge and experience of all the ancient human commanders who had designed them. The first Dominion scouts arrived at the edge of the star system and began studying the awakened human ship. Lisa detected their scanning beams and realized that the aliens were learning everything they could about current human technology and capabilities. The ancient enemy had returned, and the war that had never really ended was about to begin again. Dr. Morgan and Engineer Williams worked day and night to understand the advanced systems of the Eternal Vigil, while Captain Harrison established contact with Earth Command through the ship's powerful communication array. The message would take weeks to reach human space, but Jake knew that Admiral Peter Collins needed to learn about the returning threat as soon as possible. When the transmission finally reached Earth, the news that humanity had once ruled the stars sent shockwaves through the entire human government. Admiral Collins immediately classified the information at the highest levels and began assembling teams of specialists to locate and activate the remaining Titan ships before the Dominion could find and destroy them. Major Sam Rodriguez led the first strike team to the Outer Rim territories, where Ben Hayes had located 3 more hidden Titan vessels. Sam's team included scientists like Dr. Tony Shaw and Pilot Commander Nina Bell, all specially chosen for their ability to work with advanced technology. Each team carried genetic scanners and activation codes that Admiral Grant's computer had provided from the ancient human databases. Captain Kelly Barnes took another team toward the galactic core, where long-range scans had detected massive energy signatures that might be dormant Titan ships. Kelly knew that time was running out, as Dominion fleets were already moving through space toward known human colonies. The aliens remembered where the old human empire had built its bases and were systematically checking each location. Sam's team reached the first hidden ship in a binary star system, where the vessel called Thunderstrike had been waiting inside a shielded space station. When they activated the ancient systems, the ship's computer revealed that it had been the flagship of the human Fourth Fleet during the original war. Dr. Shaw was amazed by the ship's laboratories, which contained scientific equipment that was centuries ahead of anything humans currently possessed. Nina Bell took command of the Thunderstrike after its systems recognized her genetic patterns as matching those of ancient human commanders. The ship's artificial mind began downloading tactical information directly into her consciousness, teaching her battle strategies that had been developed during humanity's greatest military campaigns. Nina felt the knowledge of long-dead admirals flowing through her mind as she learned to command the massive vessel. Kelly's team found the Titan, ship Star Guardian, hidden inside a hollow moon in an abandoned star system. The ship had been damaged during the final battles of the ancient war, but its automated repair systems had been working for thousands of years to restore it to full strength. When Kelly activated the ship, she discovered that it carried the complete historical records of the human empire, including detailed maps of every world that humans had ever settled. Dr. Shaw made breakthrough discoveries about human technology as he studied the Thunderstrike science labs. The ancient humans had developed forms of energy and matter manipulation that modern science thought was impossible. Their computers used quantum processing systems that could solve problems in seconds that would take current human supercomputers years to calculate. Meanwhile, the Dominion fleets were getting closer to human space, and Admiral Collins ordered the evacuation of outer colonies that would be in the path of the alien advance. The modern human navy tried to prepare defensive positions, but their ships and weapons were no match for enemies, who had spent 2 millennia preparing for this war. Sam Rodriguez discovered another Titan ship called Iron Resolve, hidden in an asteroid belt near former human territory. When the ship awakened, its computer reported that it had been the command vessel for human special operations during the original conflict. The ship contained cloaking technology and advanced stealth systems that could make it invisible to enemy sensors. Nina Bell used the Thunderstrike to rescue human civilians from colonies that were about to be attacked by Dominion scouts. The ancient ship's speed and firepower allowed her to destroy entire enemy squadrons before they could report back to their main fleets. Each victory showed the Dominion that humans had not forgotten how to fight even after thousands of years of peace. Kelly Barnes found evidence that some human colonies from the ancient empire might still exist in hidden parts of the galaxy. The Star Guardian's records showed that not all humans had returned to primitive worlds when the empire fell. Some had gone into deep space to build secret colonies, where they could preserve human knowledge and culture. Dr. Shaw's research teams made contact with these lost human settlements and discovered that they had been keeping watch over the hidden Titan ships for generations. The descendants of the ancient empire had never forgotten their heritage and had been waiting for the day when the ships would be needed again. They provided valuable intelligence about Dominion movements and helped locate more hidden vessels. Admiral Collins coordinated the awakening of additional Titan ships while trying to organize the modern human fleet for the coming war. Each ancient vessel that came online added enormous firepower to humanity's defenses, but there were still far fewer human ships than Dominion vessels. The aliens had built their empire specifically to overwhelm any attempt by humans to return. To power, Sam's team activated the Titan ship Stellar Hammer in a nebula where it had been hidden for over 2,000 years. The ship's computer contained the memories of Admiral Linda Hayes, one of the greatest human military commanders in history. Her tactical knowledge and experience were built into the ship's systems, allowing modern human officers to learn from her expertise. Nina Bell coordinated with other Titan commanders to form the first human battle fleet in 2 millennia. The ancient ships could communicate with each other through quantum channels that the Dominion could not intercept or decode. This gave the humans a significant advantage in planning and coordinating their attacks against the larger enemy forces. Kelly Barnes used the Star Guardian to establish contact with Admiral Grant on the Eternal Vigil and began sharing intelligence about Dominion fleet movements. The ancient human computers worked together to analyze enemy patterns and develop strategies that would give humanity the best chance of survival in the coming conflict. As more Titan ships came online, the balance of power in the galaxy began to shift. The Dominion had expected to face the same primitive humans they remembered from thousands of years ago, but instead they were confronting the awakened might of humanity's greatest technological achievements. The forgotten titans of human space were rising again, and they brought with them the accumulated wisdom and power of a civilization that had once ruled the stars. High Sovereign Sefak of the Dominion Alliance stood before his war council as reports came in about the awakening human ships. The alien leader's 3 eyes burned with anger as he realized that the enemy they thought they had destroyed long ago was returning with technology that had been sleeping for thousands of years. His advisors from different Dominion races all agreed that humanity must be eliminated completely this time. The Dominion launched their attack without warning, just as they had done during the original war. Massive fleets numbering in the thousands of ships struck at human colonies throughout the outer territories. The aliens had spent centuries building vessels specifically designed to fight humans, with weapons that could destroy entire planets and shields that could absorb tremendous damage. Captain Harrison coordinated the human response from the bridge of the Eternal Vigil, while watching helplessly as enemy forces overwhelmed the modern human navy. The brave crews of human destroyers and cruisers fought with everything they had, but their weapons barely scratched the hulls of Dominion battleships. Admiral Collins ordered a fighting retreat as colony after colony fell to the alien advance. The first major battle took place at New Geneva, a human colony world with over 50 million people. The Colonial Defense Fleet tried to hold off the Dominion attack, while civilian transports evacuated as many people as possible. Commander Jake Martinez led 6 human cruisers against a Dominion force of over 200 ships, knowing that his small fleet could not win but hoping to buy time for the evacuation. Dr. Morgan watched the battle from the Eternal Vigil sensor stations and saw the modern human ships being destroyed one by one. The Dominion had learned from their ancient war with humanity, and their tactics were designed to prevent humans from using their creativity and adaptability. The aliens used overwhelming firepower to destroy human ships before they could adapt to new situations. Captain Kelly Barnes arrived at New Geneva with the Star Guardian just as the last human cruisers were being destroyed. Her ancient Titan ship's weapons tore through the Dominion fleet like they were made of paper, destroying dozens of enemy vessels in the first few minutes of combat. The aliens had not expected to face the advanced technology of the awakened Titan ships. The battle for New Geneva became a turning point when Nina Bell brought the Thunderstrike and 2 other Titan ships to join Kelly's attack. The 4 ancient vessels working together destroyed over half of the Dominion fleet and forced the survivors to retreat. However, the victory came too late for the millions of colonists who had been killed during the initial attack. High Sovereign Zefik realized that the awakened human ships were far more dangerous than his war council had predicted. The Dominion had built their fleets to outnumber and overwhelm human forces, but the Titan ships had technology that could destroy entire squadrons with single shots. Zefik ordered his commanders to focus their attacks on human colonies rather than trying to fight the ancient ships directly. Major Sam Rodriguez led a rescue mission to save survivors from the Kepler colony, one of humanity's most important research stations. The Dominion had attacked the planet with biological weapons that killed most of the population, but some scientists had managed to hide in underground shelters. Sam's team used the Iron Resolve's cloaking systems to slip past enemy patrols and evacuate the survivors. Admiral Collins established a new command center on Luna base where he could coordinate the defense of Earth and the core human worlds. The modern human fleet had lost over 60% of its ships in the first week of fighting, and the Dominion was advancing toward the heart of human space. Only the growing number of awakened Titan ships was preventing a complete disaster. Captain Harrison worked with Admiral Grant's computer systems to analyze Dominion tactics and develop new strategies for fighting the ancient enemy. The artificial minds of the Titan ships contained thousands of years of military knowledge, including detailed information about Dominion weaknesses and preferred battle formations. This intelligence gave the humans crucial advantages in planning their counterattacks. Dr. Tony Shaw made important discoveries about Dominion technology while studying captured enemy equipment. The aliens had advanced their weapons and shields significantly since the original war, but they had also become dependent on centralized command systems that could be disrupted. Shaw found ways to use the Titan ship's electronic warfare capabilities to interfere with enemy coordination. The Battle of Terra Nova became the largest space combat in human history, when High Sovereign Zefek brought his personal fleet of over 5,000 ships to destroy the human colony. Nina Bell commanded 8 Titan ships in a desperate defense of the planet while Admiral Collins led every available human vessel in support. The battle lasted for 3 days and covered an entire star system. Kelly Barnes used the Star Guardians. Advanced sensors to coordinate the human fleet's movements while the Titan ships engaged the main Dominion force. The ancient vessels' superior technology allowed them to fight against impossible odds, but even their advanced systems were being overwhelmed by the sheer number of enemy ships. Hundreds of Dominion vessels were destroyed, but more kept coming. Sam Rodriguez led boarding parties onto damaged Dominion ships to capture their commanders and learn about enemy plans. The information they gathered revealed that the Dominion had been preparing for this war for over 2,000 years and had built secret shipyards throughout the galaxy. The aliens had hundreds of thousands of ships ready to deploy against humanity. The turning point of the battle came when Jake Harrison used the Eternal Vigil's most powerful weapon, a quantum cannon that could destroy multiple enemy ships with each shot. The ancient weapon had been held in reserve because it required enormous amounts of energy to operate, but the desperate situation called for desperate measures. The quantum cannon's first shot destroyed an entire Dominion battle group and sent shock waves through the enemy fleet. High Sovereign Zefek ordered his forces to retreat from Terra Nova, after losing over half his fleet to the combined human counterattack. The Dominion leader realized that the awakened Titan ships were more dangerous than anything his alliance had faced in thousands of years. However, the humans had also paid a terrible price for their victory, losing most of their remaining modern ships and seeing several colonies completely destroyed. As the smoke cleared from the Battle of Terra Nova, both sides began preparing for the final confrontation that would determine the fate of humanity and the galaxy. The Dominion still had overwhelming numerical superiority, but the Titan ships had proven that human technology and determination could stand against any enemy. The ancient war between humanity and the Dominion was entering its final phase, and only one side would survive to claim victory. The final battle would take place in the Nexus system, the same location where humanity's ancient empire had made its last stand 2,000 years ago. Commander Harrison stood on the bridge of the Eternal Vigil as the awakened Titan fleet assembled for what would be the most important fight in human history. 15 ancient ships had been found and activated, each one carrying the memories and knowledge of humanity's greatest military commanders. High Sovereign Zefek brought the full might of the Dominion Alliance to the Nexus system with over 10,000 ships from dozens of different alien races. The enemy fleet was the largest military force ever assembled in the galaxy. But Zefek knew that numbers alone might not be enough to defeat the awakened human technology. His war council had spent months developing new tactics, specifically designed to overwhelm the Titan ships. Admiral Grant's artificial consciousness coordinated with the other Titan ship computers to share tactical information and battle plans. The ancient human minds that had been preserved in the ships systems began working together just as they had during the original war thousands of years ago. Captain Julie Adams of the Iron Thunder and Commander Rick Taylor of the Starforge took their positions in the battle formation, while Nina Bell prepared the Thunder Strike's most powerful weapons. Dr. Amy Foster made a crucial discovery while studying the ancient records during the hours before the battle. The human empire had not fallen through military defeat, but through a strategic choice made by their leaders. When they realized that the war was destroying entire star systems and killing billions of innocent beings, the humans had chosen to withdraw rather than continue a conflict that was tearing the galaxy apart. The battle began when Dominion scouts detected the human fleet and Zefek ordered his forces to attack immediately. The alien ships moved in perfect formation, using tactics that had been refined over 2 millennia of preparation for this moment. Wave after wave of enemy vessels charged toward the Titan ships while long-range weapons fired across the vast distances between the fleets. Jake Harrison felt the presence of Admiral Linda, Grant's consciousness flowing through the eternal visual systems as the ancient commander's knowledge guided his decisions. The ship's quantum cannons fired with devastating effect, each shot destroying multiple enemy vessels, but the Dominion fleet was so large that the losses barely slowed their advance. The aliens had learned to sacrifice thousands of ships to achieve their objectives. Captain Kelly Barnes used the Star Guardian's advanced sensors to coordinate the human attack, while Dr. Shaw's electronic warfare systems disrupted enemy communications. The Titan ships fought with a coordination that amazed even their crews as the ancient artificial minds worked together to outmaneuver and outfight their opponents. Each human vessel was worth dozens of enemy ships, but the odds were still overwhelming. The turning point came when Sam Rodriguez discovered that the Dominion fleet was being controlled by a central command ship hidden among the massive enemy vessels. The aliens had learned to use centralized coordination to prevent humans from exploiting their individual creativity. But this also created a critical weakness that could be attacked. Nina Bell led a strike force of 5 Titan ships in a desperate assault on the Dominion command vessel, while the other human ships held off the main enemy fleet. The Thunderstrike's cloaking systems allowed her to approach the target undetected, but once the attack began, thousands of enemy ships converged on her position. The battle became a race to destroy the command ship before the strike force was overwhelmed. Commander Taylor sacrificed the Starforge to clear a path for Nina's attack, ramming his ship into a cluster of Dominion battleships that were blocking the way to the target. His final message to the fleet was that humanity's greatest strength had always been their willingness to sacrifice everything for the survival of their people. The Starforge's destruction allowed the Thunderstrike to reach the enemy command ship. High Sovereign Zefek realized too late that the humans had found his fleet's weakness. When Nina Bell's quantum torpedoes destroyed the central command vessel, the Dominion fleet fell into chaos as individual ship commanders lost coordination with each other. The aliens had become so dependent on centralized control that they could not adapt quickly to the loss of their command structure. Jake Harrison seized the moment to launch a coordinated attack by all remaining Titan ships against the confused enemy fleet. The ancient human vessels moved through the Dominion formation like wolves among sheep, destroying enemy ships faster than the aliens could respond. Admiral Grant's tactical genius, preserved for thousands of years, finally had the chance to complete the victory that had been denied to her during the original war. The battle turned into a rout as Dominion ships began retreating in all directions. Zefek's alliance, which had seemed unbeatable just hours before, collapsed as different alien races blamed each other for the disaster. Many of the Dominion species had only joined the alliance because they feared human expansion, and with their fleets destroyed, they had no reason to continue the ancient war. Captain Adams pursued the retreating enemy ships with the Iron Thunder, while Kelly Barnes used the Star Guardian to rescue human survivors from damaged vessels. The victory was complete, but the cost had been enormous. 7 Titan ships had been destroyed in the battle, along with their irreplaceable knowledge and the consciousness of ancient human commanders. As the smoke cleared from the battlefield, Jake Harrison received a message from High Sovereign Zefek requesting terms for surrender. The alien leader acknowledged that the Dominion could not defeat humanity's awakened technology and proposed a peace treaty that would allow both sides to coexist in the galaxy. The ancient war that had lasted for thousands of years was finally coming to an end. Dr. Foster's research revealed the true reason why the original human empire had chosen withdrawal over continued war. The ancient human leaders had realized that their greatest strength was not their technology or their military power, but their ability to inspire other races to achieve greatness. By hiding their advanced ships and knowledge, they had given the galaxy time to develop without being overshadowed by human achievements. The surviving Titan ships became the guardians of human space and teachers for the next generation of explorers and scientists. The ancient technology was carefully shared with trusted allies while humanity began expanding into the galaxy once again. The colonies that had been destroyed during the war were rebuilt with better defenses and new cities that celebrated both Human achievement and galactic cooperation. Captain Harrison stood on the observation deck of the Eternal Vigil months after the battle, looking out at a galaxy where humanity had reclaimed its place among the stars. The Titan ships served as symbols of human potential and reminders that even when facing impossible odds, humanity would never give up hope. The forgotten Titans had risen again, and with them, humanity's dreams of exploring and protecting the infinite wonders of space.